Hey, welcome to another episode of Music Tips and Reviews with JG. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. And so, the internet, social media have been kind of, uh, you know, hating this album, the Carter Six. I feel like in a lot of, in every artist or celebrated rapper's career, you always have those albums where it's not as good. It don't hit that mark like the other albums. And I feel this album, it's like that. It didn't really hit that mark like a lot of people felt it should have. Being part of the Carter series. As far as the albums that Lil Wayne has put out. Personally, my favorite is the Carter 2. That's my favorite. A lot of people will say the Carter 3 because there was a lot of huge songs on that album, and I understand a lot of hit singles on that album, the Carter 3, and so, Lil Wayne is in a different part of his life as far as now, and I also want to say to a lot of rappers out there, it's okay to write your raps down. I feel it's an advantage of writing your raps down. Because I feel like you can paint a picture more when you can write your raps down or take your time with each lyric, and even if you don't write your raps down, take your time with each line that it paints a true picture, because I feel like it's pros and cons to coming off the top of your head a lot, because you may lack structure in a lot of your songs. And like Nas, I feel he still writes a lot of his rhymes down, and you can see that he really formulates his songs, and you see how his songs come out. He's one of the greatest, I feel, storytellers in rap. But going back to this Carter 6 album, I feel like he mixed a lot of his older albums, the concepts of a lot of his older albums, and mixed it into this album. And I feel like a lot of artists in general these days are not taking the time to make their album cohesive. They just throwing songs. Even if they're legends, they feel like people are just going to listen to it because they're legends. And I feel like people still want substance from their legendary artists. And I feel like that's sort of where Lil Wayne had failed on this album. And I feel like a lot of these songs on this album could have been left off, as far as this album. I feel there's a lot of songs on this album. I'm not going to go track for track. I'm going to go through the track list, but I'm not going too deep into each song. But I'm going to tell you the songs that could have been left on, and songs that could have been left off. Welcome to the King Carter. I love the intro. Welcome to the Carter. I was like, okay. At the beginning of the album, I was like, why people are talking about this album, because he was really going in on the second track, Welcome to the Carter. Bells is where I felt like kind of fell off a little bit as far as conceptual wise. I feel like he was paying homage to the older rappers, the old school rappers on this song. I felt it was good, but I felt it was missing some substance in the song. But I feel like it could have been left on the album. Hip Hop by Lil Wayne and Big X, the Plug, featuring Jay Jones. I feel Jay Jones had a great bars. He had some bars on that track. And that's why I like, seems like Jay Jones had a better lines than Lil Wayne on that song. That was just me. Y'all let me know. Sharks, one of my favorite songs on the album. I feel like the first half of this album had a lot of potential, and then when it got to the last part of the album, or like past the middle of the album, kind of fell off. Sharks, and I like the mainstream pop sound, Lil Wayne, the rock and the pop sound, Lil Wayne. So I like Sharks. I love Jelly Roll on the hook, and Big Sean killed it. He went in He one of my favorite. Band from NO. I didn't like that song that much. The Days, like I said, I like his rock pop, that hip hop alternative sound on Lil Wayne. I like that, featuring Bono. Cotton Candy, of course, Lil Wayne and 2 Chainz has a similar style, and I love their collaboration. On that song. I felt that was a good song. I feel like throughout this album, though, Lil Wayne didn't stick to the subject of the songs, and I feel like that's where he fell off. And like I mentioned earlier, it's good, don't put your don't think you're less of a rapper if you write stuff down, because I feel like, a lot of times that's an advantage, being a person who writes your raps down. And no disrespect to Lil Wayne and his fans, he's legendary, without a pen and a pad. But I feel like his pros and cons, in certain moments of your life or your career, where you may have to write things down in order to get your mind in place, as far as conceptual wise. And so Flex Up, that wasn't bad. Island Baby, I sort of like that song. He was singing a lot on that song, but I thought it was somewhat creative. Loki Theme reminds you of the old Lil Wayne. He went in on that song. If I play the guitar, I thought that was very creative. Peanuts 2 and Monkey. I didn't really like that song. I thought they should have left that off. I just felt like it was just like he was just, playing around in the studio with some concepts. I didn't really get to that song. I think that was the worst song on the album. Rory, that wasn't bad, with Cam Carter. Maria, I was surprised with that one. I love the beat. Wyclef Jean, I think he went in on that song. Being Myself is one of my favorite too, featuring Manny Fresh. Moolah coming in. I didn't like that song. I think they should have left that song off. Alone in the Studio with My Gun, I feel like they could have left that song off as well. Kodak Black's line was okay. it was okay. Written History was good as well, with the Muhammad Ali sample in there, him talking. I love that. I love the vibe on that one. But songs they could have left off the album, I feel Banned from NO, Flex Up, Peanuts 2 and the Elephant, I didn't really like that one. Rory, I feel like they could have left that off. Moolah coming in, they definitely could have left that off. And Alone in the Studio with My Gun, I feel like they could have left off. And like I said, my favorite song on this album, I should say, was Welcome to the Carter, Hip Hop Sharks, The Days, Cotton Candy. And I feel that even the songs that I like on this album, I feel like they're still not cohesive, as a body of work. It don't really have a theme. It's just like he just threw songs on this album and called it Carter 6, And so I feel like it was some strengths, and then it was some really, bad weakness, really low songs on this album. I feel it was really low songs on this album. And I have to give my rating. I'm gonna have to give this album a 6 out of 10. I feel this is a 6 out of 10 album. Like I said, it's some strong songs on this album. It's a lot of cons to this album. I feel like it's a lot of songs that could have been left off this album. I feel like it's a lot of songs that I feel like the songs that I like is not cohesive. I feel like the subject matter, him rapping, his lines, his bars, is not up to par to how he usually delivers, you know, as far as this album. And so yeah, that's my views on this album. Y'all let me know in the comment section how y'all feel. Like I said, you know, every artist has their weakest album, you know, like Jay with Dynasty, you know, like Nas with certain albums he had, you know, they didn't really hit like people thought it would. But you know, with these artists, they had a lot of classic albums, more classic albums than weak albums, and I feel like this is one of Lil Wayne's weakest albums. You know, I feel like it's one of his weakest. And so again, appreciate y'all for watching. This is my honest opinion about this album. 6 out of 10, 6 out of 10. So again, appreciate y'all for watching. And you know, that's my honest review of this album. I'm not saying I totally hate this album, because there's a lot of great songs. It's a few great songs on this album. There's a lot of skips on this album as well. And so again, appreciate y'all for watching. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what y'all think about this album, the Carter 6. And so again, appreciate y'all for watching. Please subscribe, give me a thumbs up if you like this review, and until next time, peace.